Welcome everyone. We might be live this time with audio because Pulse Audio. So welcome to another welcome to another completely shit live stream. Thank you not for watching. Don't share, don't like, don't subscribe, don't donate, and probably skip to another video. Full disclosure, this is a totally unsuccessful YouTube channel. We make barely $3 a day. It's impossible, well, except maybe if you live somewhere in some forest, but otherwise not possible to live from this. And unlike popular opinion, we are not here to rack up your hard-earned money or your donations or any other of that sort. With that being said, why do I say this? Because there are some really annoying comments there. If you do not believe that I do open source for 20 years and think that I'm the biggest moron on earth or on YouTube or both, then probably just dislike this video and continue to another channel and leave me in peace. And with that being said, if you had the impression that my time is best spent doing here, which by the way is this amazing, if you think that my time is best spent with doing vintage open source stuff, then you are totally wrong. You probably should not try that at home and not collect this $4,000. And if you want to copy this channel, which by the way is a totally unsuccessful one and just my pure hobby, and all the way, by the way, which button did I sign? I signed this button also. Also this was not a sponsored video and brought to you, but which scene is it, by the way, this scene. This is not a sponsored video, and this amazing OBS scene selection is brought to you by a open source patch I disclosed for using this amazing vintage, not to be purchased new anymore, of that sort. Anyway, that being said, if you want to copy this channel, which by the way is not successful, so also full disclosure, this channel is operated at a net negative, just like Silicon Valley companies with a negative income, because spending camera gear like this camera, this HDMI grabber, and this HDMI grabber, and even though this was from eBay and this was cheap Amazon Chinese crap, all the other fun stuff like for product reviews, also by the way, coming not a sponsored advertisement, another 50 or 40 something euro bucks. So fun tip, if you want to copy this channel because you think we become millionaire with doing open source unsuccessful garbage work for vintage and otherwise retro stuff, then better listen to this advice. So unsuccessful $3 a day channel. And if you want to get richer, then do product reviews like all the big YouTubers and not those unsuccessful morons who only do open source work, which nobody wants to pay for. And even if you make free YouTube videos where you just point out the standard YouTube disclaimer of, hey, if you like this video, then don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and all the good stuff, then yes, don't do that and do cheap product reviews, because that is what millions of people watch, which by the way, fun fact, I have this. So how serious do we take this YouTube channel? I have this super tiny USB-C charger unpacked on my desk for already a week, because A, other stuff to do, B, I have my personal fun playing with MIPS64 Linux, so much to how serious do we take this channel, which by the way, I probably should not say, hey, stop. That you have not heard this. We take this channel super seriously, because otherwise probably the German tax authority do not think it's tax deducible of all the supply. So forget this. We super serious channel, and don't forget this. This is company purchase. Anyway, which by the way, to the German tax authorities and IRS stuff, obviously we purchased this also for use with our company issue ThinkPad and stuff. Right. Anyway. So why do I say this? Because it is really annoying when people, so I sit here certainly yes, this is, if I would be, certainly, maybe by the way, we should just quit this channel, because certainly it was an unsuccessful experiment, and try the Casey Neistat route and just scoot through Berlin with some electric scooter or skateboard. For that matter, I heard that is way more profitable. That being said, we have some SGI Octane origin stuff too. Also, by the way, did I? Also power switch. So why do I say this? Because why do I have the power switch off? Because otherwise somehow all the SGI power supplies make some strange frizzling noise when they're on idle. Why did I say this? Because after 20 years, and if you don't believe you don't need to believe anything. If you do not believe that I do open source for 20 years, then that is also fine. You can dislike and continue to another channel. And by the way, fun fact, if you don't like this channel, you don't need to come back to this channel. Just watch other channels. I heard there are millions of them on this amazing YouTube stuff. That being said, it is totally annoying when, by the way, fun fact, I can also just stop this YouTube channel and do this in my basement without, or in my bunker without telling anyone. However, I thought it's fun stuff to share, which apparently, according to some comments, it is not. And also another full disclosure, maybe I should anyway stop this channel because doing commercial software work pays more than 1,000 times more. So probably there you have it. If you thought I do this for getting rich with your YouTube views, it is hilarious. Said that we need to say this here. That being said, if some of this negativity comments, I might start to ban some people because on top of doing all the work, which by the way, do we have a better camera scene, on top of doing all this work here of this and this testing, which I for the most part mostly do to have some MIPS testing for T2 Linux. What is 5? Also printf, what have we even done here? So that is booting something. This is of course the origin, not the Octane from yesterday. I only want to quickly check. Also, fun fact, if I wanted, so not only if I want to become totally rich, then not only don't delay buy this not promoted product today. Also additionally, even the composition of videos, I'm aware that it is too boring. So usually I should actually not do SGI and MIPS stuff each and every day here. Just that I ideally would want to have this initRD stuff fixed, and this is just some means of entertaining you or someone else and sharing that with the world, but apparently some people don't appreciate it the most. And let's see, obviously also failing year 27, although we have 5 Mbits. Also not really sure what is wrong with this stupid Mac Mini. I'm only sharing this, so actually I should probably not give this comments too much of a shout out. I mostly want to, and I will also, despite maybe not even continuing this unsuccessful channel, but also welcome also Immature Hacker. Totally amazing that we at least have you, which by the way, how many people have we? Have 5 people watching, that is already 4 more than you. So that being said, so I should probably not even give this negative comments too much shout out. The only shout out, the reason I give this is, so what is also the controversy there? The controversy is they contacted me, not by the way, there were 2 people, so there are some genuine SGI fans, which I highly appreciate, not to call you names, and so not to mix, not that the wrong people feel pissed. Those who want to send me an XIO PCI shoehorn thing, totally appreciated, you guys rock. There is, however, someone else who also contacted me and who wanted to sell me one, and I only said thank you very much, I'm not buying this overpriced stuff, recurring theme here. And the reason for that is that on top, and that is, I made these videos, there are previous videos somehow, which probably I should actually double check. I should learn how, like a real YouTuber, that is that corner of mirrored flip of preview stuff. And I made this previous video, how not to earn money with YouTube, how not to earn money with open source. Previous videos, there are somewhere 100 videos down below. And then, like myself, for example, the scanner stuff, right? And then people in the YouTube comments argue with me of how much I contributed to the open source world, which also, oops, that was, this is how I started the streaming, sorry for that. Do I have here T2 sources on this? Maybe I have. Also probably we don't have, do we have Ethernet? Oh, we have nothing better than the sound of spinning SCSI hard drive right beside the fence. That is really sad. I consider myself, yes, I'm not Linus Torvald, but on the other side, Linus Torvald also gets somewhere between 500,000 to 1.7 million per year, which I don't get. And then people arguing how much I contributed to open source. And friends and family know how much I contributed and to open source for 20 years. Certainly too much, because if I would have contributed less, I would certainly be a millionaire already, doing just commercial like Bill Gates not open source work. And then there you see how the community destroys itself, that people arguing like, you are not like the Debian people telling me I'm not contributing enough, or I'm not contributing to the right, like I'm not contributing to their mailing list, like I have obligation to join their Debian ports mailing list. It's hilarious. And even people pissing each other off and not enjoying their contribution, and accepting that I don't like to hang out on Debian ports mailing list for so many reasons. Besides, I also have work to do, and I can't read all the bloody emails and actually get work done. And that is so sad, right? We could build so nice stuff together, and then people flame war each other over systemd and how much I contributed. This is really hilarious. I don't really want to reiterate where I contributed. So not only have I and my friend, but this will be short and then we continue. Just a tiny shout out. You will find changes from me all over the place, and despite not being paid for this. So unlike other people like Linus Torvalds getting millions for his open source work, or other people employed at Red Hat, SUSE and so on, I've done everything. I've never been employed by an open source company, and I've only made very little money in my life with open source, like less than 5% of my income in my whole life I made with open source, and yet I contributed 20 years. Not only Rock Linux, I started with a friend, I said this before, it's really tiring to reiterate this. I've done GSMP, General Sound Manipulation Program, months if not years of work of a multi-track recorder in 20 years ago when desktop Linux was totally not a thing. Just because we wanted to record multi-track stuff, and even back in the day, with just before we even were at university, with just trainee salaries of abysmal total small amounts, we purchased in full studio equipment. I still have it here, 8-track Delta 1010 MIDI audio Delta 1010 8-channel. So we purchased gear for thousands of euro just to write a multi-track editor. We have done Rock Linux. In Rock Linux we contributed to all packages open source from Linux. You find my stuff in the Linux kernel, even Spark floating point emulation to other fun stuff. Yes, my name is not all over the Linux kernel because we are also doing all the other stuff, but every year there were some patches here and there. glibc, GCC, C-Lang, and even OBS I've sent here keyboard stuff which was not yet applied. So much why I'm half of the time, or 60% of the time, I don't even send it upstream, because like the OBS stuff, it didn't get applied and I only rediff it. Even GIMP, in 20 years ago I contributed to GIMP. Scanner, Access Now, Easy, Sane, I contributed not only some bug fixes, I wrote a whole backend supporting over 200 scanners from Avision on each Linux distribution, optical media. I sent patches to Google Chrome, I mentioned there in the credits, for which all of those I never got any money. And then people tell me here I'm an unsuccessful loser, unsuccessful woman distribution, and I should go F myself. And anyway, so that's for this open source run, and certainly time super best spent here. And also why, the only reason, so I should not give this such a focus here, but just that you understand the frustration of not only doing open source but also YouTube, and people thanking you very much for that. And yeah, it's hilarious. Anyway, let's continue here with the stuff what I wanted to do today, because you have seen on the previous videos Octane, by the way, even Octane, then the controversy is over the Octane, right? Like, hello, yes, I got the second Octane for free, but the first, and I got the second only by pure accident. I didn't even ask for this. When I picked it up, I was told it is some abandoned Unix stuff, including an SGI origin. I was not even told it is. And by the way, it doesn't even matter. I picked this stuff up from a basement, from someone I didn't know from Twitter, which was not even related to my YouTube videos. Just a friend told me, hey, this guy on Twitter is giving some stuff away. Maybe you want to pick up some of the stuff. And fun fact, I didn't even rush there. It was at the other end of Germany. And it was only weeks later, I said, hey, do you still have 4 or 6 weeks later, I messaged him on Twitter, hey, do you still have some of this stuff? Because I drive there accidentally to this area. And he said, yeah, I have all of it because nobody in 6 weeks picked up any of this retro vintage garbage. It's hilarious. And yeah, then it was, I actually drove there. I thought it's an SGI Origin, and then it was an Octane. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Other people pick up stuff from the recycling center, and it's hilarious. That people get, and even I say, don't buy this stuff. You see how slow it is. It takes even 1 minute to run a subversion update. It's hilarious. I have really no words. And this is also, and now I really stop with this. This is also why we can't have nice things. Because not only in politics with Trump and whatever and Brexit, but even in the open source community, people cannot be nice to each other. Yes, I said there something a tiny little bit negative about Gentoo because this was just technical stuff that I find this sources a little bit hidden. I only said I don't like to work with this kind of e-build infrastructure. I even said in each of these videos I merged this with this Gentoo people and I fixed additional stuff. And by the way, not only is audio still not so, the Gentoo people have still not imported, hey, by the way, wrong key. Dear people of Gentoo, you also are amazing. Thank you very much for rediffing this. SGI Octane patches, you guys rock. I wish you would share these patches a little bit more visible, like we do in T2, like nice sources and not hidden on some mirror. But anyway, thank you so much for doing this. I know that is a month of time and it is highly appreciated, and you are welcome. You are welcome and invited to pick up the fixes of audio and what else did I fix? Audio endiness for Red 1 and the hardware cursor. And I have implemented, so even the hardware cursor for, actually not this, hardware cursor for this Octane, for the impact, it took me over a week of work, and this is also why we document this. How long does all this stuff take? As you see, it takes forever, especially if you do not do this daily and are not paid by MIPS technologies for all this stuff. And mostly I started this YouTube channel, as you see, not for shameless product placements. Don't delay, don't buy this today because not yet tested and maybe it sucks. But also to share how much work it really is, and that companies and people appreciate more all the work that is done for free in the open source space and community, and how it really looks internally to do professional IT. But so now we are done with that. I hope it's somewhat sort of the last time we need to do such a shout out. Yeah, it's getting really annoying, these comments, but now we do this. So what we want to do here now is also wrong focus. The problem is this kind of streams are super boring. That is probably also why we don't get the most views with this. And what we want to do is test if the initRD stuff works on the origin. I tested this also after I switched off the camera, because even for me it's getting too frustrated with the Octane. I think the arc load is loading the initRD, and that is not yet memory corrupting, and I can continue to boot the Linux kernel on the Octane with an initRD loaded when the kernel does not have support for the initRD. So the memory corruption and crash or whatever of that sort is only happening between arc load, maybe supplying the wrong addresses because it's not between physically and virtually mapped addresses. Maybe there is some confusion or mismatch, yeah, probably most likely, but we will need to debug this but not this week because it's getting too boring. So most likely the range where the initRD is copied into is not what the Linux kernel thinks it is, and then it's accessing most likely invalid memory or something of that sort. I only want to test because SGI Origin, which is totally amazing, which it's amazing that we have the origin, because the SGI origin 200 IP27 is upstream, so this code was partially, I think, probably done by SGI back in the day. So I only wanted to check if the origin can actually load an initRD, which probably we should. Do we have enough scrollback of, let's see how much, yeah, darn, I don't have so much scrollback. By the way, why not? We should have, okay, anyway, because now I don't know which arc load that is, but probably, okay, we can actually, without, I would need to reboot now to find out which arc load I have on there. Which, by the way, do you want this scene or that scene, or too many scenes to which scene would this be? I already start to get confused here with my scene configuration, too many scenes. So probably you want probably, I have so many scenes yet not, maybe with something of that sort, I guess, maybe somewhat sort of. Anyway, I need to work on my scene configuration. So let's just boot this and see what happens, because I'm not really sure if this arc load is new enough, but anyway, to find out we would need to reboot initRD, and so let's see what happens if we reboot. I mostly want to test what happens, and this image, and but yeah, so initRD system, I think this probably should work like that, I guess. Let's maybe double check the path here, which, by the way, wait a second, we should make a copy, otherwise we can't boot anymore. So we have a copy, okay, we have new, and okay, what did we even boot here? So we have, okay, we have, okay, you know what, this works, so maybe let's 48. Is this large enough, by the way? I hope it is large enough. Is this slightly memory corrupted there? Anyway. So let's see, IP27, then we have a fallback, or maybe fallback configuration. But the long story short is, people are really unthankfully, even if you do stuff for free, people argue with you and piss you off, and I hope it's understandable how extremely frustrating it is to spend so much time not only on open source but also on YouTube video, and don't even ask for much except share, like, and subscribe. Anyway, shutdown, reboot, let's see, so we have IP27 something, let's see if that reboots something or not. It's not boring if everyone knows what you're doing. Get an Octane like no, yeah, I know. That is also, thank you for pointing that out. This is, so actually this is also, people told me they don't like the SGI origin so much, which, yeah, also origin not as sexy, not as pretty, not as, yeah, also louder. Immediately people said they don't like the origin too much for the loudness. I mostly have it here. It's also a shame, a pity that this front panel stuff is so broken, but that's what it is when you get stuff for free. Pick it up in some basement, and yeah, not sure if I will invest into expensive fans for the origin, but most likely I will actually, even so the Octane is less loud, but most likely I will actually install, by the way, will this auto boot? Maybe wait a second, let's, probably we also want to, oops, also maybe focus. For the Octane, I'm actually considering installing some fans, some other video. Is here some auto, non-stop, not sure with all of those here though. Non-stop, do we have some diskless one? Wait a second, diskless. ZEnv diskless 0, wait a second, diskless. And I'm not really sure what non-stop means though. Where was non-stop? Prop all SCSI host ID, console, time zone, Sash. Also we need to set env OS load file name, what was it, IP27, right? We should probably, let's see, we have IP27 new year, and let's try if that auto boots would be probably preferable if that auto boots. What's the difference between init-ramfs and init-rd image? Just the same, yeah, it's just naming convention. Although I think in old-fashioned times, I think like really decades ago, in Linux 2.2, like so, yes, see how long do I do Linux? So long that I already forget how it was back in the day. Back in the day, it was different. It was it using even ext2 or why is this not auto booting though? What? By the way, I think this is a load version, invalid token. Let's hope. Okay, set env os load file name IP27 new. Let's hope that boots then still. Yeah, apparently it boots. So okay, that here with this. Your version of GCC is too old stuff. This is a giveaway that it is too old actually. The arc load, so that is an older arc load. So in extremely old times, like before, like really long time ago, like maybe before Linux 2.5 or someone 2.4. Let's maybe Google this. I think the init-rd, the old init-rd was different. I think it was like a real file system, like maybe even ext2 was used, and then later. This was changed, so nowadays it is CPIO, but a very specific modern flavor of CPIO. So if you use CPIO like similar to tar, but if you just use CPIO, it will not work. You need a new C or something format flavor. And so yeah, Linux init-ramfs x2, or I'm pretty sure that was. So that was init-rd and init-ramfs, and init-ramfs is new. That is a new flavor of like a decade or something of that sort. So yeah, just that you probably learned something. Otherwise, it's nowadays it's also root and okay. So much to hitting enter 3 times. Thank you very much for that. 9,600 baud test. So. Let me just, so we need here 1 second to copy some SCP from some gateway arc load. Hello. Password. Arc load not found, darn it. Okay, then you can also, which scene, by the way, was it this scene or this scene, or probably this scene? Let's see how many others. So then I need to, okay, we have this. So I rebuilt already the Linux kernel, because usually I cross-compiled it here for SG Octane. Open source is for fun, not for money. Other people don't understand this. The YouTube community, not for the views or for the money. Yeah. So anyway, also amazing, 12 people watching, which is amazing. So also speaking about doing YouTube videos and risking exposing password bits, yes, SSH with with public key, but anyway, MIPS. So one more second of SCP arc load. Actually, I thought I copied this. Why is this not? Also, we can tar the kernel like we did for the SGI Octane, and then SCP that also. And also. And then try the SCP. Also, I mistyped this. This is why it didn't work. Shouldn't type archload. But yeah, sometime soon, like really soon. Let's see which is. Sometime really soon, I also need to implement here some distributed file system between Office and data center and stuff, because it is not very convenient workflow of SCPing files around. So was this DH? Okay, so similar to, if you have not seen this in the other video, we need to emerge. Sorry, by the way, it should be 27 frames, not sure why this is so like it's so DV. This was disk volume header tools, volume DVH tools, I think. That is for the SGI H tools, DHV something. DVH R2, this out. Yeah. Amazing, recurring theme, amazing. I probably can, while this is emerging from source, slightly optimize here this scene setup. It's probably not worthwhile to waste that much. Space for black borders. What we have this installed, DVH. Oh, we had this installed, amazing stuff. So this is, if you've missed the other video, this is for the IRIX or SGI IRIX partition stuff and volume header tool stuff. So DVH tools print all or something, just to see what we had in there. And then similar to the Octane video, the other videos there previously, if you want to watch the old ones. So that would be Unix to volume header. So that is arc load, that is the latest one, arc load, and as file name we just use also so that name is the name inside the volume header directory structure there of amazing vintage Unix goodness, arc load. And so with print all, just you've seen this maybe the other day, so now we have search for IRIX naming compatibility and arc load. And then we probably not yet rsync, or not rsync, SCP the Linux kernel, because the Linux kernel I have here from a month ago doesn't support initRD, that I can show again also on camera theme. So just tar this here in there. But the good thing is now we have here right now 2 working kernels, so even if we brick this, we still have the other one to change between. So etc, not etc, arc load, and not arc load. Also, yeah, 9600 baud, if you were wondering how slow that was back in the day. And so that is, looks like that should probably most likely be okay. Shut down, reboot. Theoretically I have other stuff to test, so we have 12 people watching, which is certainly amazing as usual. I also maybe, but probably do I show the keyboard? Cool. That is a cool setup that my keyboard is hiding. Let's see, do I have this cool vintage keyboard? Probably not. Let's see what else I have here. That is also zero drop frame. That is amazing. Let's make a new retro terminal. And what am I showing? I'm actually showing this. I can actually probably, wait a second, we also want to do it. Okay, let's not overcomplicate this here. So theoretically, other fun stuff. So we could theoretically take the upgraded G5 out, the one that we have in unofficial Apple 2.5 gigahertz IBM PowerPC SKU in there, and I could test the latest build of that. And theoretically the super amazing guy who donated me this year, so Origin 200, he has a cluster of those. And share, like and subscribe, the recurring shout out here. If you want to see me try to boot Linux on an Origin 200 cluster, someone in a couple of months, maybe next summer, then share, like and subscribe for that. Always load file name IP27. Oops. Yeah. IP27. Not really sure if that would work though, because not really sure if SGI left this in a state from decades ago with bitrot and everything. So I think this was IP27. Let's also we need set, and we need to set our OS loader to arc load. We had this to search from IREX, from what arc load, not only real this typo, which by the way do even probably not even show this correctly. Yeah, so much to waste of time, not really sure. It would have of course be cool to just come there with my Linux image and configure his cluster as a cluster with this Kralink, NumaLink stuff, and yeah, that also crashes in. But actually, so that gives us a cooler crash actually. Get random bytes. Why is it cooling in what get random bytes called from? Oh, okay. What the heck? So there you see of how much does this stuff work upstream, and not so much apparently. And then anyway, so this is that latest to init. So this is with the init RD loaded. So on the origin it does work exactly not the same as on the IP30 Octane. And where would be this would be there. Do we also not have that locked? Is this locked or not locked? Yeah, we are dropping a lot of frames. I have no idea why. Sometimes it works better, sometimes it works worse. Maybe it has to do with having the second frame capture stuff for that, but whatever. That comes from running an old kernel for this bloody binary only Epiphone capture dongle thing, and amazing USB dongle life for ever. So yeah, so we have here init RD loaded. So this is loading. Arc load loads this to init RD at here. So 9C something to and it's passing this on. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is already a pending. So it's a pending RD start. So I would need to further investigate this physical versus virtual addressing to study how the reallocation or mapping works there on the early boot, and these are all the platform specific details. Slightly wonder why this is so lagging. So can we, which is of course hilarious, that which other scenes do we have here, which all of those work. Somehow I messed up some scenes of this sort. Anyway, yeah, this address is certainly not the same as you see. So the 9C something is here, but this is A9. So this, yeah, whatever physical. So maybe this is incorrect. Maybe it is correct. I don't know. Would need to study this. So you just to document where all the time is going. So determining physical RAM map. So usable after init RD extends beyond end of memory, disable. Oh, so wait a second. So this, there you see, I mean, I copied this patch from Debian, and maybe this is even so much to Debian people fighting also with me in Debian. Everything is amazing. So I shamelessly, and I said this before, I shamelessly store in this arc load init RD support, and this kernel, as you see, correctly says init RD extends beyond end of memory, disabling init RD, but then it crashes anyway for whatever reasons. So yeah, so much to that though, actually. I slightly wonder, so does the reset button, is this reset, or is this reset to interrupt, or is this reset to interrupt? Oh, nothing here is reset or interrupt. but the color of the the color of the LED changes, but it's not rebooting. We could try just to double check. So there you see there's clearly something wrong, so that is definitely something out of sync there in regards to how arcload is communicating the initRD address to the kernel, and maybe the kernel itself also. Let's do one more test boot, and yeah, probably we should also set up some QEMU or GX emulation stuff to easier debug this, because often with emulation and virtualization stuff, often it is easier to debug this print, or we can just set env os load file name IP27, I think it was new. Also better without typo. What's this? Yeah, that's actually, this might be the wrong one actually. Darn it, this will crash the same way. Or does it not? Wait a second, this doesn't crash this time. I had, okay, good. This is the right kernel. I copied this over to both being 4.18.5 or what this was. I think it's possible to, with Vulkan on this hardware. So which hardware do you mean? The Octane? The Origin 200 doesn't have a video card, at least not this one as it. I think there was some graphic option, but I don't have any. On the Octane also not, unless, so I'm not sure if Vulkan has a feature set of like fixed function OpenGL-like. So if Vulkan is only possible if there is a subset of fixed function, not fully programmable stuff. Not sure if it does that. But what I also wanted to continue is wait a second, but now we booted the same kernel actually, so this was slightly stupid. We have overwritten the kernel. Actually this is, so we actually tested that this kernel boots without initRD, because uname A, that is what we just built today at October 28th. Yeah. So yeah, then that's it for this live stream. Let's actually not sure if is the date right. Okay, I'm not really sure if shutdown worked on this kernel with a real-time clock. I will anyway continue my low-level bare metal series. We could also change the view for that one, which of the many views was it? Maybe that. We will also continue the low-level like Verge Voodoo. So we have Voodoo stuff to finish. We have Link 3D stuff. We have then Octane, RSX, P3 stuff. We also power down, whatever. Somehow generic theme that this doesn't work anymore. And yeah, probably, yeah, I could actually make a couple of more live streams now to become more rich here on YouTube. I did this links stuff for the Transmeta Crusoe based OCO with Link 3D, where the texture bits do not have the effects that they should have. And I ideally would want to fix this also. And yeah, so this is coming.